Hey guys, Kurt from Time Machine Transport, just at the shop today. Beautiful day in Burlington, Wisconsin. Got to move some trailers, but anyways, the reason for the video is here's the truck that I did the differential on. We're getting no leaks, which is a good thing. But now my ECM, my computer system for my truck is it's not doing well. Anyways, the purpose of the video is I'm going to show you guys what's happening and the steps that I'm taking. So basically, when I turn my truck on, I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyways, when I started up my truck, I'm getting active faults. Can't really see the number on there. There you go. Anyways, I was at 10. I was over in Kansas, Colby, Kansas, delivering spring parts, and it wasn't good. So when I turned the truck on, it was at 10 faults. 10 faults. But I've been having some issues. I'll explain what's going on. So what's happening is my motor fan won't go off, and it hasn't gone off for a few months. We tried to do the air solenoid on the firewall here. We tried to do that, thinking that was what the problem was, but that wasn't the problem. Went underneath the dash and we changed some thermostat stuff. There was like a thermostat with like a wire off it. Changed that. That wasn't it. We changed. The guys from Freightliner thought that it wasn't getting coolant to the the radiator wasn't receiving the amount of coolant that it should, and the fan was going into trouble. So what we did was we changed out. I don't know if you can hear. I'm only keeping the engine running because I want you to show exactly what happens after it cycles. But anyways, what we did was we changed several metal lines back in here, right here, and those go to your water pump, I think, or something like that. Like I said, I'm not a mechanic and I don't pretend to be one. But the reason why I'm explaining it is we did a trial and error thing. We kind of are actually not trial and error, process of elimination. Called Freightliner, found out, or asked a lot of questions. Hey, what, we purchase a lot of parts from Freightliner, so we got a customer rep over there and asked the guy. He went and talked to some service technicians, and what's happening is after the motor stops cycling after a couple minutes, the motor fan stays on, the check engine light comes on, and 2 more faults register on the dash. So I have a total of 4 faults. I already know that the one fault is for the ABS sensor on the driver's side front tire, driver's side front axle ABS sensor. So the first axle behind the driver's side. And so we pulled the wheel, we cleaned the sensor. That's what they told us. That's what they suggested. Then I had another fault that said when they put it on the computer, the ABS sensor was one of the faults, and then they also said that the ECM wasn't getting enough power. So they said you might need new batteries. So we put new batteries in, put a new alternator in, put a new serpentine belt on, another process of elimination. Went back to I stopped at a TA in California, Ontario to get my AC filled and to have them put it back on the computer to reset the faults. When the guy went to reset the faults, he said that they were unable to clear. So what happened is He's like, I don't know, it could be a bad ground. So I told him another problem we're having is my oversized beacon lights right here and my headache rack lights all up top, they won't turn on. And the guy says, well, maybe it's a bad, actually, hold on one second. So I can shut the truck off so you guys can hear me better. So anyways, now what's happening is we're getting 4 volts. The check engine light is on. I'm getting the proper voltage. All my gauges and everything work fine. So, but the motor fan still stays on. So now I can stop screaming. So anyways, so when I go to throw this switch right here, my headache rack lights, it's on right now, they should turn on and they're off. So that's weird. Then I turn my beacon lights on for my oversize and they're not on. So anyways, the guy told me at TA, he says, well, maybe it's a maybe it's a bad ground. I told him no, it's not a bad ground, because when we put the beacon lights on and the headache rack lights on, they worked every time I threw those switches. Every time I put them on, they would come on every time. So I said, it can't be a ground problem. So he says, well, that's a good theory. He says, well, that's not the problem. It's not a ground problem. And then I told him about the motor fan staying on and the check engine light. So he said when he looked at the codes or looked at the troubles in their computer at the TA, he told me once again about the ABS sensor and the low voltage on the ECM, the electronic control module, which is the computer for the truck, which I showed you here is right here. It's a Detroit series motor. So anyways, he said that the other 2 faults he couldn't read. He said I'd have to take it to Freightliner. I said, no way, I'm not doing that. So then I went online on YouTube and I checked out, you guys don't want to see my ugly wall. There, hi. So he said he's taking a Freightliner. I said I'm not going to do that. So then I went on YouTube and I looked again at some videos, read some articles online, and what they said was the very first thing the guy said about the ECM. I went on and I looked on like ECM problems, whatever the case is, for 60 series Detroits. A guy was explaining, there was a couple, one guy was really thorough, I forgot the name of it, but I think it's like DCR or diesel or something like that, or DSR or something like that. Anyways, the very first thing he said was if your motor fan's staying on, you're having bad fuel mileage, your truck's not getting the horsepower that it is supposed to get, which I know when the motor fan stays on, you're losing horsepower. You're losing a significant amount of horsepower. But he said besides that, he didn't mention that when the motor fan stays on, you're losing horsepower. I researched it, and sure enough, you're losing quite a bit of horsepower. So anyways, the things he mentioned, your motor fan stays on, check engine light, you're getting horrible fuel mileage, your truck isn't getting the power it's supposed to, you're having power issues, and you're having some other issues in the truck. So I've called Freightliner multiple times, talked to these guys, and they're like, are you sure you're in a Century class? I'm like, of course it's a Century class. I know what kind of truck I'm driving. So they couldn't troubleshoot. They said, you got to bring it in. I'm not doing that. So we've done all the process of elimination by changing out these switches, doing this, doing that. And after reading articles and after watching several videos, it seems like it's the ECM. So I went online and I went on eBay to see if I could purchase a remanufactured ECM. because Freightliner wanted like $1,700, and you have to turn your old one in for a core, and that's before taxes. So you're looking at over $1,800 for a remanufactured ECM. So there's a company online on eBay, and there's actually several companies, but we're going to go with the one that seems the best. It is a company called, shoot, I forgot the darn name of it. It was $629, and it's a lifetime warranty. Well, what you do is you buy the subscription. It's $629, way cheaper than the Freightliner's remanufactured one that they probably haven't done much to it or whatever the case is. And then what it does is it's free shipping, so you have to pull the old ECM out. Then you send it down to I believe it's in Prairie, Texas. It's like shoot, I just looked it up this morning. It's something Go ECM Diesel. I think it's Go ECM Diesel, and it's in Prairie, Texas. $629. I'm gonna pull the ECM today. They recommend first you have to disconnect all the batteries. So I got to get in here and I got to disconnect all the batteries. The battery leads that go to the ECM. You have to pull the power to the ECM, and then remove it, and then you mail it down to Prairie, Texas. What they do is they say when they receive it, they clean it very thoroughly. Then they test it to see what troubles and what the problem is, and then they fix the issues. Then they update the software, I believe, and then they retest it to make sure everything's cool, and then mail it back to you. So all for $629. I felt that was the best thing. All the other ones were offering 1-year warranty. That's all Freightliner issued or warranted their ECM from or for was a year. The other subscriptions you buy were cheaper. They're like $300. There were some that were $400. There were some that were even $600 and some dollars. But none of them offered a lifetime warranty. So if you have any problems, I know you have to pull it back out, but this company seems like they're pretty legit. And like I said, I'm gonna pull it today. I'll mail it tonight. They said it's about a day and a half to 2 days to receive. It's a 24 to 48 hour turnaround, and then they mail you back another day and a half, 2 days. So you're looking at probably 10 days, realistically, is my guess. Not a week. You're probably looking, I would slot it for 10 days, and if it comes back before, then it's a bonus. So I'm only doing this video because I'm telling you the problems that I have. Also, another thing I checked was my fan clutch. All you have to do is shut your truck off, and if you want to check your fan clutch, you just turn your key, no power to it. You just recycle it. And if it goes like this and it's free flowing like that, that's a good fan clutch. And then what you do is you come over here, you shut your key back off, and then you go to turn it, and if it's stiff and it can't turn, that means your fan clutch is good. So that's also not the issue. So we've done everything that we possibly can to diagnose the problem and to fix it without going into the ECM, because obviously that's the most expensive. So anyways, I'm going to pull it today, like I said, send it down. I'm going to do a second and final video on it. It's just a plug and play. My recommendations to you is when you do pull the ECM, take pictures first of that side and that side. Disconnect the battery, like they said. I would number them like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is. So when you go to plug it back in, I don't know if I've never done this before, so I don't know if the plugs are the same, they're different, whatever the case is. But just to save yourself some hassle, mark them. And I'm gonna pull it, mail it. They're gonna fix it. And another thing I would recommend is, they didn't say do it, but I would include a letter in the shipping box that says all your problems you're having, and then I would throw a $20 $20 bill in there, and butter their balls a little bit and say, hey, listen, you know, buy yourself some lunch, and you know, these are all the problems we're having. Have a great day, and ciao. And then that's it. And you know, kill them with kindness. They'll probably get it to you within 24 hours. You know, they'll probably have it fixed within 24 hours if you give a cash tip. That's, you know, that's what you do. And cash tips have always worked out for me when I tip a TA mechanic, or any mechanic for that matter. They seem to go lighter on the bill. So anyways, I will do another video once I receive the ECM in the mail and I reinstall it. And it's called plug and play, I guess. So plug and play, and we'll start her back up. We'll see if the faults come on. If all the problems that we have are gone, then obviously it was well worth it. So I'm kind of at my wit's end on this truck as far as the problems with that, with the power and this and that and everything else. So it just seems like it only be an ECM problem at this time. So anyways, hope you guys liked the video. I hope it was informative. And if you like it, like and subscribe, and I'll send you guys the video in about 7 to 10 days after we get it reinstalled. Have a great day. Ciao.